it is his style. He's like an exciting fighter. He does do stand up, but like his scrambles and some of the jiu-jitsu stuff he does quite well. And that's Matt Schnell. I think that'd be an exciting fight.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now.
Steve, man, you jump into a fresh week. You have number 14 in the world next to your name now. You know what I mean? Like, you beat the number 10 guy. So you're thinking, maybe I should be a little bit higher. Do you feel that way?
No, honestly, I was surprised that they put me in the top 15. Obviously, I'm happy and I think I should be there, but you never know how they're going to go with the rankings. One win, I think, is pretty unlikely to get put there, even though it is over top guy. So I'm just thankful that I'm there.
Yeah, it helps you a lot, right? With matchmaking and things like that. It makes it easier, so to say.
Yeah, because you have like a clear, who's in front of me, who's behind me. It makes it clear for them and for me.
And how are you feeling, man, physically after the fight?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Calf is still a little bit banged up. I'm not limping anymore though, which is good. So I'll probably be back to normal training as of Monday, I'd say.
How many of those calf kicks actually landed clean and hurt? Because, we have this big debate about significant strikes nowadays. So I wanted to know which ones hurt that bad.
Every single one he threw. So I thought I turned most of them out to check, but even though I got the checkup, I think his foot still came around and landed on the calf. So, whether I check him or not, it hurt. So there you go.
Yeah, it's one of his main weapons that he uses, and it's something that has come along in the last maybe 5 years, like really into the mainstream. When did you start, knowing how to defend it against the calf kick or even throwing some yourself?
So I remember, I can't remember the exact date, but I fought Sunguk Choi on Hex, third professional fight. And he was throwing calf kicks, so I was aware of him at that stage, and I've been defending him pretty successfully in sparring and all that sort of stuff since then. But I think the shin guards give me like a false sense of security. So even though I feel like I'm checking him, it doesn't quite get the same angle as he threw him on. So I'm gonna have to rethink the way I defend those kicks in the future.
Wow, Sunguk Choi, he actually just lost, I think, on Road to UFC. Have you been following that?
Yeah, I have. I've been
Okay.
following his career as closely as I can. Obviously, it's not
Yeah.
easy to fight outside of Road to UFC, but yeah, I definitely watched every one of his fights in that.
Definitely. And, he still basically has the same style that he had probably when he fought you. I've been watching him for a little bit as well. Going back to the fight, man, you get this fight on short notice. It's one of the best guys in the world. It's a big task. It's your debut. It's, I believe, your first fight outside of Australia. And was it your first fight outside
No,
of Australia? No.
I fought on Gamma, so that was
Oh, okay.
that was my
As a
outside of
pro,
Australia.
right? As a pro?
That was it was like a pro-am show, so
Okay.
um,
Okay.
I fought pros, but it was technically not a pro show. It was confusing.
How did you see a lot of fighters, young fighters, come in for their debuts and have way much more notice than you do, and they just clam up in the spotlight, man. You're on a pay-per-view card as well. How did you handle all of that during fight week?
Honestly, I think Eternal have done a great job at making it feel like a big show. So I do the media before Eternal. They do the poster signings. They have a big stadium. So I think that really helped me get used to the atmosphere and be ready for when it actually came to the UFC.
And when you step in there and you're facing off with him and you're seeing like what he's trying to approach you with, when did you start to figure it out? Was it in that second round?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes you make um, adjustments based on what you see, and sometimes it's like a feel thing. So, um, happened the same thing in the Shannon Ross fight. For some reason, I just in my head I was like, "Oh, this is now open," and I don't know why. And it's sort of same thing happened in that fight. All of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, okay, this should be here," and it was. So I don't know. Like, there's some subconscious stuff going on, obviously. Um, which obviously led to some of the knockdowns and stuff. And as far as like consciously, what I took in was mostly about like how to get around the leg kick. So either going southpaw, or I started playing like more of a Thai style. So like that, I'd play it like really light in that front leg and just bring it up straight up the middle. So that stopped him from getting close, so I could throw the teeth. Or as he threw the leg kick, my foot's at a different angle, so even if it does land, it's not landing on the same spot. So that's some of the stuff that's happening during the fight.
Yeah, it's a lot of people, I think, when they expected, when they read about you, in online, and they didn't really see you fight, they probably just expected you to do a Ryan Hall. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people expect. Did you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely heard a lot of people saying that my jiu-jitsu is good, but I couldn't fight my way out of a paper bag and stuff like that. So I know that I have stand-up skills, even though it might look ugly sometimes. So I'm working on it to make it look a little bit prettier. But I know I can definitely hang with good strikers for sure.
Leading up to this whole debut for the UFC, it hasn't been easy. I mean, you've had fights made, canceled, things booked, not booked. I mean, it's just been a game of patience. Do you feel like you're much more patient man now compared to you were, when you first started this journey?
Yeah, honestly, I feel like my whole career has been setbacks and people falling out, fight cards falling out. So I think I've been uniquely uh, groomed, I guess, into being able to deal with these types of situations. So yeah, just keep training. If I put in enough work, eventually things will work out the way they're supposed to, and I'll get my shot. And obviously, I got that shot on Saturday and made the most of it.
It also seemed like David Dvorak was fighting a little more cautious. Did you feel that when you were fighting him?
Yeah, I think he was a bit shocked with how the feet, like how looked on the feet and stuff like that. Like coming out of the first round, he looked like I was bouncing around. He was sort of staring into empty space, and then he looked at me and goes, "Oh, I better look like I'm ready to go," and like just little stuff like that. And even at the weigh-ins, we faced off, and I was very calm, had my hands behind my back, and it looked like he's like, "Oh, I got to do something to make it look like I'm ready." Just there was something about his energy that made it feel like he was expecting to have like be in my head or it to be easier than it was. So
It was a great performance, man. A lot of praise going your way, and deservedly so. Anybody that's been watching the Australian scene, they know what you can do, and you're just like the next part of the next wave. I mean, there's a bunch of guys coming in, right? A lot of them made their debuts in Perth, and all the talk will be you returning in Sydney. You've already talked about it, but I feel like a stylistic matchup. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of style do you want to fight next? Because I feel like to improve yourself, at the highest level, you got to fight the different styles, right? More of a striker, more of a grappler. Like, what is your preference next?
um, I sort of just have like a person more in mind. So it's not like it is his style. He's like an exciting fighter. He does do stand up, but like his scrambles and some of the jiu-jitsu stuff he does quite well. And that's Matt Schnell. I think that'd be an exciting fight, good stylistic matchup, and I'll learn a lot from it for sure.
Matt Schnell was the original opponent for this fight, right? You
Yeah,
replaced him. Okay.
yeah.
That.
So obviously he was injured at the time, but I've heard that
Yeah.
he potentially will be fine for Sydney. So we'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That's a great matchup, man. That's something you could test everything in, right? He's pretty all around fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you get to watch any of the other fights later on in the
Yes.
night?
Yeah, I did. So we have to leave the venue straight after, but we get tickets, so we come back and get to watch. We watch from Chris Curtis's fight onwards. So the most exciting fight for me was definitely the Charles Oliveira fight. I wanted Benito to win. Gone to his gym a few times, that sort of thing, but it's hard not to like Charles as well. So I'm happy for him and obviously down for Benito. But there you go. That's fighting, right?
Exactly, man. Exactly. But Neil will be back. I mean, he's done it many times in the past, so it's no big deal. Another big moment of the night was in the main event when Amanda Nunes, she retired. Like, it seemed like nobody knew. I didn't know. I don't think anybody really knew that was going to happen. And then you yourself, you started your career on the same night, right? She kind of ended her career on top, and you're starting your career with a good momentum. I don't know. Maybe there's some energy to that. What do you think?
Oh, that would be nice. Being double champ, greatest fighter of all time. I wouldn't mind having that. So, yeah, let's hope so.
Yeah, good energy. Now, there's still a few months. You got the whole summer. Are you planning on just staying at your home gym, training there, being ready there, or are you gonna go, work with other people? What's the plan for yourself?
Yeah, so the plan is to train at my gym at Wilkes. I go to a couple other gyms also in Perth. So I go to Scrappy as well, and I go to Gladiator Wrestling. So I'll be definitely making sure that I'm more than prepared for Sydney.
Is Gladiator Wrestling the place where like a lot of you guys go to, a lot of the fighters in Perth?
Yeah, it's in my opinion, it's the best wrestling place in Perth, and it's hard to argue. We have a lot of national champions from there. We have a Commonwealth Games medalist from Gladiator. So yeah, it's definitely a lot of people have gone down to Gladiator that do MMA to up their skills.
I think I was talking to Jack Della. I believe he goes. I'm not for sure. Maybe he was talking about that.
He used to go there for sure. I don't know if he goes there anymore, but he does have one of the guys from Gladiator come down to wrestle with him every now and then. And yeah, so um, yeah.
So for yourself, it's just like, okay, train, pretty much what you've been doing the
Yeah,
past couple
exactly.
years, train and,
If,
and wait for the call.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Exactly. It ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, man, it's gonna be crazy to, have your second fight in your home country, right? And against a ranked guy. It's it doesn't get any better than that. I wanted to ask you about the title fight coming up in the flyweight division. Since you're a contender now, man, I could ask you these things. Pantoja, he has 2 victories over Brandon Moreno, but Brandon Moreno is just looking like he could be pound for pound best in the world, right? He's just incredible. Like, what do you see in this fight? Do you think there's a huge psychological edge that Pantoja has?
I don't think so. I think Moreno's tough enough mentally that won't play a factor. If anything, it'll give him more motivation to come and like prove that he's better. And like if you look since the last time they fought, like the caliber of people that Brandon Moreno's been fighting, he's fought for titles, gone 5 rounds, like all that sort of stuff. I really do think that Moreno's going to get the win. But obviously Pantoja's done it before, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that he does it again.
Has Moreno's ground skills, think they're good enough to be able to get away from Pantoja? Because Pantoja's a snake, man, on that ground.
Yeah, I think they are. Figueiredo's really good on the ground too, and Figueiredo couldn't really do anything with him. And in fact, he got the submission over Figueiredo in the second fight. So I think he'll be good enough to neutralize his jiu-jitsu, or at least, stall him out or get up, and I think he should be fine.
And who do you think like has the best chance, out besides yourself, to dethrone Moreno? You know what I mean?
Kai Kara France probably. I think that was a good fight, and he got caught with the body shot. But next time, I don't necessarily see him. Like he's a good striker. Kai Kara France can give him real problems.
What did you think about the judging in that fight, Kai Kara France versus Amir Abazi?
Yeah, I thought Kai Kara France won 3 rounds and lost 2. I couldn't see how you could give it to Al-Bazi, but yeah, I was shocked. That's why you don't give it to the judges, right? Because you never know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and be happy, you're on the winning side of things
Yeah,
sometimes, right? Because you see some crazy, and they never change it. They never overturn anything. So it's
it's
just
precedent though if they start changing decisions after the fact, because then it
yeah.
looks like a from the UFC and all that jazz. So they probably shouldn't overturn it unless, I don't know, unless they've been proved to be bribed or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Major fouls or something like that, right?
yeah,
By a
exactly.
fighter, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, if they start overturning fights, next they're overturning all the fights. You know what I mean? It just opens up a bad can of worms.
Yeah.
Steve, man, incredible performance. You showed out, and I'm proud to see that other Australian fighter is on the map and ready to take over the flyweight division, man. The flyweight division is so exciting, and you add to it a lot, man, especially with the style that you bring. Thank you so much, man, for taking the time, and we'll speak ahead of the next one time around.
So,
Or next
thank
time around.
you. Good to talk to you again.